Let's talk about Disney's Moana and Maui. Is he a narcissist or just a harmless anti-hero? Hey guys, I'm McGann, and this is the Fangirl, where you all really seem to like videos where I'm analyzing narcissism in characters. So let's keep this party going. I think Maui from Moana makes such an interesting case study for this topic because the character is so likable, yet has so many negative, worrisome traits. So let's have a look at some specific things that Maui does and how that might relate to narcissistic personality disorder. A few things before we dive in though. 1. I am not a doctor to diagnose NPD. I'm only talking for anecdotal and educational purposes, which is why I'm analyzing a cartoon and not a real human being. 2. Every person on the planet will display some narcissistic traits. That's very normal. However, when you are displaying a ton of them and they're causing problems with your interpersonal relationships, that's when you might want to seek out some help. And 3, this is just in response to my Encanto video about how Abuela is a narcissist. A lot of you guys went into the comments upset, saying that Abuela is traumatized, but as I said in that video, narcissists are not born, they're created from trauma. The narcissistic tendencies rise up as a self-defense mechanism, and there is no one-size-fits-all reason as to why some brains respond like that. Okay, now that the housekeeping is out of the way, Maui does so many strange things. And the problem is, they often play out as cute in the story because, you know, the whole bit is that Maui isn't really the villain that mankind has dubbed him. For example, when Moana first finds Maui, Maui assumes that she's a fangirl that tracked him down for an autograph. There could be no other explanation as to why somebody else was on that island. It has to be because they loved him and sought him out. Then we see a number of occasions where Maui looks directly into the camera, breaking the fourth wall. And that's because his need for attention and admiration is so high that he's even making eye contact with the audience to absorb his laughs more fully. There are just so many itty-bitty details like that that make this character so interesting. But as for some bigger details, another great moment in this movie is the "You're Welcome" song, and that really equates to someone getting love-bombed by a narcissist. If that's a term you don't know, love bombing is something that narcissists do to overwhelm their quote-unquote victims with excessive praise and attention, and in turn, that makes the victim drop their defense and they become more trusting of the narcissist, so they get more sucked into the perfect fairy tale world that's being painted. And that fairy tale world is never real, it's never true. And really, the problem is that the narcissist doesn't keep up with the love bombing, they lose interest, and that will often put the victim's brain in a state of stress and confusion that is comparable to a gambling addiction. It is a very complicated, harmful process. So just a PSA here, anytime you are feeling addicted to a person, it's time to seek out help from a counselor because that can easily turn into a toxic situation. So if we step back and look at the "You're Welcome" song, Maui the trickster takes Moana from the real world to this colorful fantasy world. And Maui's offering up fruits and flower leis and all these beautiful things that Moana is just enthralled to see. I mean, Moana is there with one clear objective, to force Maui to return the heart of Te Fiti. Yet she gets swept away with the magic of the song. She loses focus. She doesn't know what she's doing anymore. But see, the problem is, Maui isn't singing because he's in love with Moana or desperate to make a new friend. He's singing to her to shove her into a cave, seal her in there permanently, and then steal her boat. It's a mentality of, what can you do for me? And I don't care if you die in the process of me getting what I want. But because there's a flashy song and Moana manages to escape, we act like that's a forgivable character trait for some reason. Then later, after Maui reclaims his hook, he tells Moana his backstory of being tossed into the ocean as a baby. It is a very sad story. It makes Maui seem like a sympathetic victim, and it really comes off like a bonding moment between Moana and Maui, right? Well, yes, but only for Moana. See, a lot of people hear the word narcissist and they envision someone just kissing themselves in the mirror, I love me, but that's not the case. While a narcissist can be very covert and wave their arms around going, look at me, which Maui certainly does, there are also what is called vulnerable narcissists who use their sob stories to emotionally manipulate people into feeling bad for them. And that, in turn, offers up narcissistic supply, which is what the narcissist emotionally thrives off of. So narcissistic supply can be a lot of things. It can be people going, yay, you're the greatest thing ever. Or it can be people going, oh, you poor thing, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I feel so bad for you. Oh, let me soothe your hurts. It just depends what that narcissist feeds off of, and you can actually be covert and vulnerable at the same time. So an example would be, I'm the best guitar player in the world, but no one will ever appreciate it. So that's both covert, look at me, and vulnerable, oh, poor me, at the exact same time. So for Maui to share his backstory in that way, it was not to bond with Moana, it was to feed off of her sympathy because Maui felt weak. He had just reclaimed his magic fish hook and his powers didn't return to normal. He needed someone to boost his ego so he could get through his issues. And a popular myth is that narcissists don't have any feelings, and that's not true. They have feelings, they just can't feel beyond themselves in very many instances. So Maui can go, oh, my family was so bad to me and that hurts me. But he couldn't listen to Moana and say, wow, your dad was really unreasonable with you. So that storytime bonding moment was exploitative. And we can actually prove that because when they have to face off against Taka, Maui's hook takes some major damage. And what does he do? When this object that he connects to his own identity and importance is in danger, Maui yells at Moana, blames her for the situation, and takes off. Now sure, Moana did make a risky move with Taka, but it was a decision made in the heat of battle. It was not something done with the intent of harming Maui or his hook. I mean, geez, come on. Moana helped to get the hook back and helped Maui fix his powers, so she has no motivation to be nefarious. Yet Maui treats the damage like it was a purposeful act against him. Then, after venting and totally devaluing Moana until she feels worthless, Maui's gone, even though he's very aware that the canoe is damaged and Moana could die out there in the middle of the ocean. A non-toxic personality would be more like, once we get back to dry land, we are going our separate ways. But to just up and leave Moana stranded with no concern for her well-being is a very narcissistic thing to do. And I think the largest piece of evidence against Maui is Te Fiti, the goddess who adopted him, who gave him his powers, who gave him a home, and who allowed him to go out and find a purpose in serving the humans. But Maui, with no regard to his adopted mother, stole that woman's heart, literally and figuratively, and he ruined her. I do want to do another video going over Te Fiti's transformation to Taka and how that parallels narcissistic relationships and their discarded victims, so I won't over-explain that all here, but let me just say, been there, done that, and it is a narcissist nature to just take, and then throw you away like you're a used tissue. So is Maui an official narcissist? Oh, he most definitely hits enough signs and symptoms to qualify. And the most frustrating part about these kind of characters in Disney movies is that they end up being redeemed or having a change of heart while doing no real work. It's just some aha epiphany moment and the character's behaviors do a 180. And since narcissistic personality disorder is not curable, and in fact, a lot of narcissists will pretend to be different just to get their victims back back and re-traumatize them all over again. So it ends up setting a dangerous precedent when everything wraps up so neatly in these movies. It's like telling children that through love and kindness and hope and wishes, you can change the beast into a prince. And that's not how it works. And it can become very mentally and physically dangerous for those who get trained to believe, I can fix them if I have a good heart. The only real way to defeat a narcissist is to have strong boundaries that you do not allow them to cross. And you have to be willing to walk away from that person forever if they do cross them. So be safe, be careful, and always do what's best for yourself first, because a narcissist will always do what's best for themselves first. They don't really change. It might not be reality, but theories are more fun? Yeah. Well, family members, we're almost done, but I want to invite you to hang out with me in some other places. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as my own personal self, and I have a Facebook page too, but I mostly just post photos over there. And sometimes people say, hey Megan, I want to mail you something. How do I do that? Easy. Just click the About tab on my channel page, and my most current P.O. Box info will be right there. I also run another channel, The Family. It's really a hodgepodge channel where we might post anything. Oh yeah, and I also sell shirts and stickers and stuff with the Family and the Fangirl logos. If that is your cup of tea, I have a link in every description of every video. Finally, if you want to help out the Fangirl channel and make sure I'm putting out video essays for years to come, the best way you can help is by subscribing and watching more of my videos, whether they're new, old, whatever. Maybe even share one or two on social media, help spread the word. People who watch to the end of videos like you helps to tell the site, hey, this is a good video, we should recommend it to other people. So if you made it this far, leave me a comment of something like, hey, I made it to the end. Love ya. See you next time, family members. Bye.